Hello, my name is Calvin Tedenkun. I'm a technology consultant that specializes in AI and data strategy. I've created this video in response to a lot of the questions I've gotten over my 6+ years in consulting. And that's explaining to people what consulting is, but more importantly, how people new to this industry can succeed within it. So, what I would like to spend the next 10 minutes talking about is my journey through consulting and the top 5 key success pillars I think anyone new to consulting should prioritize. You will also notice that I'm not using a 2D slide deck for this presentation. Recently, I've begun exploring the concept of the metaverse, and I wanted to see how 3D assets and visuals can change the presentation format. So, what I've done is built this world within Unreal Engine as a visualization to support each of the 5 key success pillars I'll be talking about. Additionally, to facilitate this presentation and my journey through consulting, I'll be using the analogy of a person's journey up a mountain. As this Calvin bot avatar climbs the mountain, each plateau will represent one of the 5 key success pillars I think are needed within consulting. I will pause at each of these question marks to introduce the success pillar, give you a story about my experience growing through it, and some advice for you to take advantage of it. Some of these success pillars may not seem groundbreaking, but I really encourage any new consultant to assess their key strengths for each pillar to benchmark how they want to grow as a consultant. And on the note of very fundamental skills, I have to start with one that everyone must have heard of before: networking. Consulting is a very broad and ambiguous job title. Most of my family and friends still don't know what I do for a living. Quite frankly, when I first started in consulting, I didn't even know what it meant. It exists across all industries and service offerings. So, as a new consultant, there will be many dots of ambiguity. What project should I be on? Where can I find frameworks and accelerators? What are all these crazy acronyms and terms I keep hearing people say? These dots are confusing, and you're not going to be able to connect them on your own. Your network is going to be the means in which you can connect these dots and save yourself a lot of time and anxiety. These connectors will be the peers, coaches, managers, and even external industry connections. Building a network early gives you the support system of people to back you when you have no clue what's going on. So, my advice is to spend the first few months as a new consultant connecting with everyone possible within your organization. This will give you a good lay of the land on who you want to work with and learn from. They will be the stepping stones you need as you jump across industries, projects, and offerings. Even as you mature as a consultant, taking the time every month or two to reconnect with old colleagues or new hires can give you new insights on interesting projects, trends, or solutions that you'd never have thought of on your own. So, to summarize, prioritizing networking early in your career will be one of your best springboards to success. Some of my strongest relationships are still the coaches and mentors I found early as a consultant. Remember, networking is not about sales. It's about finding the people that inspire you to be a better consultant. The second key success pillar for new consultants is focused on doing something I can't imagine anyone loves doing, and that is mastering your written and verbal communication skills. This may seem basic, and like networking, it's a very foundational skill needed to succeed in consulting. Keep in mind, we're still at the base of this consulting mountain. But your communication skills matter in consulting. Especially in technology consulting, you are often responsible for acting as a bridge between business and technology stakeholders. This means that you have to be able to translate the complexity of a technology solution or strategy in a method that your business clients can both understand and provide meaningful input on. Now, an important thing to recognize is that no one is born with a mastery over communication. I myself struggled, and still struggle, presenting in front of people. I will still take 10 minutes to write and rewrite an email, or stress when talking in front of people. My advice to new consultants is really to own your current level of communication skills and put yourself in situations where you have to improve upon them. Put yourself in situations where the spotlight is on you to communicate correctly, and rely on your close network to help guide and recommend areas of improvement. I know this sounds incredibly vulnerable, but it will help. Putting yourself out there with a published article or presentation will help take a lot of the fear and stigma you may currently have associated with your presentation skills. Remember, the more you do it, the better you'll get. So, let's leave this dark room and continue the journey up the mountain. As I previously mentioned, any new consultant is going to have a long list of unknowns when they enter this industry. But there seems to be a misconception that this early ambiguity eventually goes away. Let me be the first to stress that this is not true. No good consultant is ever comfortable or complacent because they are always getting put into new, unfamiliar industries and offerings. What does change, and is a third success pillar for consulting, is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. There will be situations where there seems to be a million options and you don't know which path to take, or you don't even know where to start on identifying the solution to a client problem. Your ability to pick a path or problem solve, even when you're in unfamiliar territory, is what will prevent you from plateauing early in your career. You will always have your network and communication skills to get the help you need, but never undervalue your opinion and skills. This means taking the first pass at building the structure of a strategy deck before asking your manager, or speaking up on how you think a client problem can be solved. You will be wrong many times, as I have in my past growing as a consultant. But by stepping out of your comfort zone, you prove to the people around you that you are willing to try even when the solution is not easily found. This success pillar is one of the hardest for new consultants to understand, as we often have imposter syndrome. Recognize your value and get comfort that you tried even when you failed. In a time where mental health is incredibly important, being okay with being lost will be one of your greatest assets. The world will keep spinning if you can't build that slide deck for tomorrow. Focus on learning and being okay with failing. On the note of building yourself up, the fourth key success pillar for consulting is really focused on your personal reflection on who you are as a consultant. I've had many coffee chats and done many presentations with people looking to get into consulting. They always ask me about the magic tactic or buzzword that they can use to get hired or perfect their interview. I always give the same advice. Have an understanding of what your brand is and how you want to sell it. The fourth success pillar in becoming an amazing consultant is being able to identify, shape, and market your personal brand. Consulting is a sales-based industry. You need to be able to sell your expertise and knowledge to ensure your clients have the confidence that you will get the job done. So, what do you want to sell yourself as? What do you want to be known for? For you to grow your network and your career, you need to be able to understand what buzzwords you want to be associated with yourself, how you can improve upon them, and how to make sure everyone knows it. Many of the people I was most jealous of during my early years in consulting were not the hard workers. They were the people that were able to play the consulting game really well. They knew who they were and what areas they wanted to focus and grow in. That early insight gave them the power to ensure that every leader knew the buzzwords and projects that person should be working on. The value of having buzzwords to associate with yourself is that they become your elevator pitch on who you are and why you would be an amazing person to work with. This is not to say your brand is set in stone. I've reinvented my career path every few years. I also can't pretend that when I started in consulting that I knew what my brand was going to be. What I can say is that I saw people grow exponentially the second they did the reflection on what their brand is and the advocacy to ensure everyone else knew it. Branding is the success pillar that I talk the most about. My advice for new consultants, or people looking to get into consulting, is to really reflect on the buzzwords they want associated with themselves. Are you an industries person, an offering person? What do you want to be known for, and who needs to know it? Your ability to market yourself is going to be the best method that you can build confidence in others and in yourself that you know what you're talking about. Journeying up this mountain is a great link to the fifth and last success pillar I'll be talking about, and that's a focus on continuous growth. You may think that, like networking and presenting, that this is a very foundational skill, but I would argue that this is the most important skill. Consulting is not a 9-to-5 job. It is not stagnant in its operations, and you will very rarely be doing the same thing twice. Without continuously pursuing certifications, courses, and other external learnings, you will often miss new trends and solutions that you can bring to your clients and projects. During my time in consulting, I've seen various hypes come and go, from big data to wearables, AI, cloud, and even the metaverse. Identifying and actively using your learning supplies are critical in understanding the hype and value of new tech trends. Every year you should have a learning plan, whether it's getting a certification, publishing an article, taking a new course, or trying a project in a new industry. There should always be something pushing you to take the next step forward. This mountain peak of learning and growth I'm currently on is a great way to reflect on what I've accomplished so far in consulting. But it's also a great view to the next mountain up ahead, with a new set of learnings and challenges I know I need to overcome. So, with that being said, I want to thank you again for watching this video. It's been a rewarding challenge teaching myself this new presentation format. I hope the 5 key success pillars I've talked about today help you in your own journey up your own consulting mountain.